Yo, this video is a strategy and tips guide for Team Deathmatch on the Zavod map in Battlefield 4. You may already be aware that with the way the unlocks progression system works in this game, grinding with a weapon to unlock more weapons of that type and more attachments for that weapon will require farming certain types of kills. Not surprisingly, this means Team Deathmatch will be a very appealing mode for you to play if you want to obtain weapon attachments or unlocks due to the high expectation of obtaining infantry kills. So since you're probably going to face farming kills with a weapon at some point in your Battlefield 4 career, I may as well make a few guides for the maps and modes you're probably going to do it on. Please be aware that these strategies are centric to the Recon class. There will be some deviation in case you don't have access to Recon tools or for some reason don't want to play that class, but you should at least have the spawn beacon unlocked to use the strategies most effectively. Zavod Team Deathmatch is a fairly simple map centered around two main buildings. Usually one team will be spawning behind one building and the other team spawning behind the other. And the fight is essentially one big tug of war with occasional deviation as control of each building switches and people start spawning in corners around the map. There is only one rule on Zavod: control the rooftops. If one team has control of both rooftops, they've practically got a secured win. Barring radio beacons, there are no spawn points on either roof, and pretty much all the spawn points on the map can, in one way or another, be spawn camped from some position on at least one of the roofs. Each rooftop, in turn, has a secondary roof that's even higher up, at the top of a ladder, which has a hatch that can be sealed to prevent anyone else following you up. Control of these makes controlling the rest of the roof easier, which in turn makes winning easier. It also means that you can farm pistol kills or kills with weapons you don't have attachments for a lot easier, because you can parachute off the secondary roof, down onto the primary roof, and often show up behind people. The element of surprise in getting a first shot off will greatly help your ability to collect kills, even if you have no attachments for your weapon and are just using a pistol. It's so powerful, in fact, that even if you're farming just pistol kills, if you have the surprise advantage for most of your kills, you'll probably get a positive kill-to-death ratio anyway, regardless of which weapon you're using. Now, as I said, control of the rooftops is essential. As such, there are several different actions you should take depending on how well the first minute of the match is going for your team. In the best case situation, as soon as the round begins, you should rush up the ladders for whatever building you spawned at to get onto the primary rooftop, then rush up to the secondary rooftop. As soon as you're up there, plant a spawn beacon down, seal the hatch so no one else can follow you up, and then rush off across one of the two catwalks onto the other primary roof. Rush straight up to the secondary roof and seal that hatch. Use all your kit's tools to make sure this happens. Toss all your grenades, all your motion sensors, whatever it takes to be absolutely sure no one on the other team coming up on their side's roof can try to stop you. It's okay to use all of your V40 mini grenades in a few seconds if you toss them all near ladders, just to make sure no one climbed up to stop you. Same for the motion sensor balls. As soon as you successfully climb the secondary ladder, seal the hatch and parachute off. If you are not a recon and do not have a spawn beacon, your goal should be to rush across to the other team's rooftop and seal their hatch. This will give a recon player on your team better opportunity to get up onto your side's roof and stop the enemy team from doing so if you're successful. If you are a recon with a spawn beacon and do manage to be the first one on top of the secondary roof on your side, if other teammates are following you up the ladder, seal the hatch first and then set your squad to private so you're the only person in it before you plant the beacon down. The hierarchy for best case situations is as follows. The best thing to happen is to have you and you alone have a beacon on the secondary roof, with the other team's secondary roof either sealed off or in possession of your teammates. The second best thing to happen is for your team to have control of your side's roof, and you rush to the other side to seal the enemy team off. If you're not a recon and cannot plant the beacon on your roof, then you should rush to attempt to secure a seal on the other team. You should only deviate from this if you're playing with a group of friends who you know and are certain will not screw things up for you. If you don't want to play recon, but you have a recon buddy, then you two can squad up and share a beacon, or have both of you spawn recon and try to get a beacon on each rooftop. But be certain your squad is set to private. Now you may wonder why you should seal off your own teammates and deliberately prevent them from spawning on your beacon on the secondary roof. The reason why is because they will destroy your beacon. Teammates are extremely stupid in Team Deathmatch. Remember that in Battlefield 4, anyone you kill gets to follow you around as a ghost. If you plant a beacon on the roof and your squad is public, in 20 seconds you'll have 3 snipers pop up, all trying to farm kills from the highest sniper point on the map. They will draw attention and they will start getting grenade spammed, or someone will go after the beacon with a MAV or a mortar strike, and when that happens, bye-bye spawn point. If you have successfully locked the other team's hatch and it's just your spawn point at the secondary roof level, then you're in the best position possible, but there are rules. Under no circumstances are you to fire at anyone or obtain any kills from on top of the secondary roof. You're only supposed to use that as a spawn point, not a camping point. After you spawn, toss some motion balls to search for nearby enemies, then parachute off to pursue your unsuspecting enemies below. The best defense your spawn beacon has is that no one knows it's there, and since enemies can't get onto their secondary roof, no one's going to know. Unless, of course, you decide to camp next to your spawn beacon and draw vast amounts of attention to yourself. I've had my spawn beacon last the entire round and had that happen often, but that can only happen if you're smart about it, and your teammates won't be. Unless you are in a squad with your buddies, do not let teammates up on that roof. They will camp up there with sniper rifles, they will draw grenade spam, they will kill your spawn beacon, and I've even seen one guy try to be lead and open a hatch to let an enemy squad up and kill them all with a pistol, which resulted in the rooftop switching to the other team's control. They will draw attention, they will give away your beacon's position, they will open the hatch to let enemies up. Don't risk it unless you have an unusually intelligent team, in which case it doesn't really matter because you're probably already stomping the other team and probably going to win anyway. So remember, after you've secured the secondary rooftops by planting your beacon and sealing both so no one can come up and spot it, no sniping or camping from that roof. You don't want any grenades thrown up there. If you're farming with a sniper rifle, you toss your motion balls, parachute down, go up behind someone and snipe them in the back of the head from 3 feet away. But do not let someone follow you around as a ghost and see your beacon on that roof. If you don't attack anyone or kill anyone from on the roof, usually no one's going to wise up and figure out you're spawning up there. Most of the time, people will assume you climbed up one of the ladders to get to the primary roof, as there's about 4 ladders on each building. Now, if things aren't going perfectly for the first minute or so of the game, say the other team is on the other rooftop with the same idea as you, and they sniped you while you were climbing the ladder, or stopped you from rushing over to block their own access, keep trying to push across to the other rooftop at least for a little while. If you come up behind a squad of snipers, it's a good way to obtain a couple multi-kills, and it's worth dying a few times and being in the negative if you can clean the roof of enemies and hand a significant advantage to your team, even if it's only for a few seconds. If climbing up the ladder and doing it the fast way doesn't work, then you'll have to resort to a stealthy approach. Make sure you have the Recon Spec Ops upgrade path selected, which starts you off with stealth. This will prevent you from showing up as a bright orange arrow on the minimap when you're walking around. Use that to infiltrate into the enemy base. Avoid killing anyone. If you see people running by, just let them go until you're in a good position to plant your spawn beacon in their base. Don't be impatient and sprint. If you're concerned about getting knifed, just drop motion balls at your feet as you're moving through the area and keep an eye on your minimap, as nearly always, someone wanting to knife you will sprint at you and be visible on your minimap. There's so much debris and cover surrounding the center of the map that most of the time if you don't sprint, you'll be able to walk straight through the middle from one building to the next and will avoid detection. Just don't let your impatience get the best of you. Once you've reached the other team's main building, hide your spawn beacon somewhere. In a corner no one will look at is okay, but will probably be detected eventually. Up in the rafters works best, so if you feel you have the opportunity, or you die and respawn on your beacon with another beacon in your bags, climb up onto that side's primary roof and plant a beacon on the rafters inside the building. Once you've got a spawn point in the other team's base, again, make sure only you can spawn on it. Your teammates only care about spawning on your beacon and shooting the first person who they see and drawing attention to your beacon and destroying it. That beacon is for you and your trusted buddies alone. Try to, in a stealthy manner, approach one of the ladders and get up on top of the rooftop. Again, you may die once or twice, and if it's being guarded, then you may be out of luck. But if you succeed on getting up onto the rooftop in a stealthy manner, it's a good way to get a quick multi-kill and lock down the other team's rooftop control, which will be a great benefit to your team. And since most of your kills will be surprise kills, this strategy will often award you kills with, say, a pistol if that's what you're after. And if for some reason your attempts to control the rooftop just aren't working, remember you can toss grenades up from inside the building to try to kill people on the roof through the broken holes in the glass. And if you can plant a beacon up on the rafters somewhere, that beacon can also avoid detection for quite a while, so you can kill some people on the ground to get back into a positive score. Usually you'll be successful. Using these strategies outlined in this guide, you should be able to both contribute to the team's victory, either by helping them secure the roof, by spawning up on the secondary and then parachuting down to keep enemies off of the primary, or defending them from an enemy-controlled roof, while also getting most of your kills for whatever weapon it is you're grinding with, since you'll often have the benefit of attacking an enemy from behind, while also often going positive with your KD. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Later, YouTube.